Hey guys, we're going to go into compositing part 2, just a continuation of our first part. I wanted to show you that I've continued to start to place things, and again, I'm after trying to make these elements fit around my head so it looks like they're on top of my head. I don't want to just paste things on top of my face because it just doesn't sell the believability, even though this is a very stylized representation of things. I still want it to be somewhat believable. So I opted for making these terminals different sizes, almost like they're going back around my head, and I even am pushing this back, this second terminal on the right, pushing it back and even masking it using my paintbrush, masking it a little bit on the bottom so it looks like it's behind the dome of the crest of my skull there. And I'm even starting to play around here with some small elements of electricity just to see what it looks like. Here you can see some more use of the gradient map because I have to convert these two elements, reverse them. So what's black is now white, so you're going to see that. I'm also using clipping mask here. I'm reversing those values so they're a little bit whiter, so bump up those whites. And I merge those so now they're all one layer, so I don't have to worry about two. And I do the same thing to this kind of generator looking shape, which is the shape that I started out with, and I thought was going to be like the main point of my design, but I ended up putting it way in the background behind these two terminals. And it's a nice kind of accent piece to kind of bind everything together, but it's a background piece, so. I'm going to start duplicating things, elements in my piece just to add some more weight to what I've done. It seems a little light right now, and the more I can start to duplicate this theme, duplicate elements, and especially play around with variety. So I've scaled up things, I've rotated them, and they're very simple things, very simple elements, these gears. But if I start placing them in ways that push them back into space, so I overlap things, right here I'm even, I like these wires, so I'm putting one on the right side, but I'm using a mask layer here to help sell this, that this wire is going behind my ear or in my ear. Behind my ear, as I think is my intention, but that's going behind my ear just to help add more visual weight to the whole thing. I made these little bolt pieces. My intention was they were going to be like screw heads, but I kind of like them as these mechanical type bolts or facets, even rivets, elements that I've added to my head, just little accent pieces. I'm playing off that electricity again and see what I like even better. Now, I didn't sketch these, and I will allow you a couple of things that you don't have to use as sketches, so you can draw them in. I'm just using the polygon tool to make these simple lightning bolts. And in the end, I kind of wanted this arc kind of lightning bolt. And I also wanted this to be in kind of concentric arcs together. So we're getting closer to getting finished. I wanted to use the paintbrush a little bit more. I'm just finishing up the shadow here. The shadows created by these objects on my head. And again, just to help sell the believability that these things that I put on here have a little bit of mass. So there's a little bit of shadow that you can see from these pieces. And I'm trying to follow some kind of light source. It looks like the light source is coming from the right side. But once I add in this second element, the light source is going to be coming from the electricity too. I'm basically going to take a paintbrush, and I'm going to paint in white on a low opacity, and I'm going to create or hope to create this glow coming from the electricity. Right now it's kind of dead, doesn't have any life to it, but I've made a new layer, got the brush tool out, made it really big by using the right bracket key, and I've adjusted the opacity so it goes a little bit at a time, and I can really play around and customize this glow, like how much do I want it to glow, and I can keep clicking. I'm just single clicking with the brush, and I really start to like what it's doing, the effect that it's having. What I found that was once that I created this glow, it was once on a black background, but now this black outline, this nasty black outline from this terminal is showing up, and I want to get rid of that or refine it somehow. So what I decided to do was take the magic wand tool and select just the black area, and I'm just going to delete that, or command X just to cut it out. And I think I cut out some other black tidbits. But then what I go back and do is once I have all that deleted, I come back with my polygonal lasso tool and redraw in the terminal to my liking. And finally, my finished piece. I think the last thing that I do here is just pull down some other guides to figure out, okay, where does the rule of thirds play in this composition? And as you can see, just by happenstance, that the face or the portrait takes up about a third of the piece. The mechanical stuff takes out about a third, and the electricity or the glow takes up about a third. So there's really a nice proportions coming in. I've gotten rid of the guides just so I can get them out of the way, and I've really enjoyed this piece. I like the way it came out.